Alright, everybody, we are back again now for round 3 of Weekend Night Racing. And wow, what a shit show the start of this one was. I forget exactly what happened in qualifying. I just remember it being a very long session because it had to be restarted early on. Because we had the settings wrong. Surprise, surprise. Settings wrong in this league. That never happens. So qualifying was affected, and then our first race attempt, we had lobby issues, and yeah, just a bunch of lobby issues, and a lot of settings being wrong, as is par for the course. So, yeah, we're here at Spain, obviously. I had brought up in the last video that the next race was at Spain. And again, I don't remember what happened in qualifying, but I remember still just feeling like, I had the superior race pace on the track. So, like I said, I forget exactly what happened. It was a very long session at that, too, because of the lobby issues. So, yeah, starting third, knowing that we got what it takes to win on this track, starting on the hard tires, as always, because every track has the same strategy on this game. And yeah, it's gonna be weird. This was my last race without even realizing it on this track layout. So yeah, it'll be cool to see. I definitely am more of a fan of the more natural new version. Well, I guess it's the old version of the final sector. But at the same time, I was strong in that little chicane there. So the competitor in me is like, man, maybe it's not so good that that's gone because I was good at that. But it is what it is. I know it's better overall just for the track and for the racing. But yeah, on the F122 layout of this track, approaching the grid. Remember, we are second in the championship. AC Immortal, who's starting on pole position, has a championship lead, and we're actually tied for second with the car right in front of us. I think it was either the car in front of us or the Williams of Rick Dolan. Nonetheless, AC Immortal has a championship in lead, and yeah, no black box. He has dipped out earlier than he thought he was going to do, which is a shame because I liked racing him. He got his wins here early on in the tracks that I'm not strong at, but I really wanted to race him and try to get a couple wins on him on the tracks that I'm strong at. But is what it is. So we just focus on the championship fight we have at hand, with AC Immortal leading the championship currently. Getting ready for the start, you see DJ Death Dragon ahead of me in the Alpine. DJ is on the medium tire, so chances of him getting a good launch are pretty good. But it seems like we've get an extremely good launch. But so is the car behind him fourth, also on medium tires. So it looks like we might be 3 wide going into the first corner. I didn't want to overfight this because they're both on medium tires, so I just back out at the last second. I don't pull a Lando Norris because I'm smart and not overrated. And yeah, so unfortunately we lose a position off the start of this race, and we're going to have to be a little defensive into this corner as well, as we're getting attacked by another medium tire runner. It's so annoying that there's so many medium tire runners just getting in the way of my race, and they're just running the inferior strategy. Like, it isn't rocket science, guys. Like, we knew a week into this game that on every track in the game it was hards to mediums, but y'all gotta run medium tires and just get in my fucking way. And yeah, I'm more worried about them causing an incident with me than actually being a threat for the race, because as we see a car, shaders, spin, go out into the wall, and yeah, almost go into the back of that Alpine, I'm sorry, the Aston Martin. He really butchers that quarter. And we've got a full safety car already, and we are down into P5 early on. Frustrating start with all these medium tire runners getting in our way here early on. Race to restart at the end of lap 3. We try to predict and get a good run, but we get a terrible run. But at least the car behind us, the Red Bull, has got a not-so-great run as well. So we're just going to kind of slot into our own part. But you look at the ERS usage by the cars behind. Wow, they are just burning all their battery on the front straight. I don't know why they're doing that, but they are nonetheless. Caution behind. Another car has retired already. And will it be an immediate second safety car? No, it will not. Thank goodness. I just want to get some green flag racing in, especially with these medium runners in my way. But their tires will start to fall off sooner rather than later, and the fact that they're not immediately breaking away from me just shows that, again, they're not going to be a threat overall in the race, because this is the part where if they're not breaking away substantially from me every lap, then their chances of a win are completely gone. And they're running the inferior strategy, which people were still doing 10 months into the game's lifespan. or 9 months into the game's lifespan at this point. I don't know. But yeah, it does, I mean, a little off-topic note here, but it does still kind of boggle my mind. It's like, as someone that's played 3 genres of games competitively for a decent amount of time, like, it's still just so weird to me. It's like I'm in Division 1 of a multi-tiered league, and you can still just instantly be a top third of the grid just by knowing the basic fact that everyone knew a week into the game that hards to mediums is better. And then the irritating part is that the people doing the wrong thing are getting in the way. So it's not like they're getting in the way that they'll actually be able to challenge for the win. They're just getting in the way in the fact that it might just fuck both of our races. Well, fuck their race even more, but then fuck over my race as well. But yeah, it's just very counterproductive to their own race. I don't know. I can go off to a whole tangent. But yeah, it's funny to me how it's like in some games that I've played, like for example, like fighting games, you know, you've got to be a really, really good, dedicated, knowledgeable player of the game, even to be a low-level competitive player. Meanwhile, if you just know the things that people knew 1 week into an F1 game, you can already just beat half the grid immediately. It's just don't crash out, run the correct tire strategy, and just laugh at everyone doing stupid shit, like crashing out every race and running the wrong tire strat 10 months into the game. But yeah, that's a little off-note kind of tangent there. It's still just funny to me how people get it wrong so often. But hey, it does make more entertaining racing for you guys, because I would just be sitting probably just with one other hard runner, and yeah. But now you can see me hopefully make up some positions in the race as I try to get the whole way up to the race win. But we can't do that when we got safety cars coming out. And these safety cars even more screw over, I don't want to say screw over, but even more emphasize the fact that the medium tires are not the tire to start on. Like I said, when you're on the medium tires, this is where you need to be breaking away from the grid. Guess what happens when a safety car comes out? We all come back together. Cool. So guess what? I still have the fast tire at the end of the race. You've used your fast tire up, and we're still all together in a little pack. So, I mean, good job, guys. Skipping forward to us going green. I got held up again by the game just not letting me hit the gas, but, you know, it is what it is. Lap 8 now. Same thing as last time, just in my nice little own pocket here, which is fine by me. I'll be able to catch up to those guys that are now on worn mediums quickly enough. And yeah, you can see the leader still very much in my sights, and I wasn't able to quite catch eye on what tire he started on, so we will see. So if he started on the hard tire, then yeah, that does suck that, you know, the other hard runner is about 3 or 4 seconds up the road from me. But if he's on the medium tires, only 4 seconds ahead of me, that's going to be a bad time for him come the end of this race, folks. You can see we're already only half a lap, and we're already pretty much right on the back. It's still definitely within DRS range of the medium runners. So we're going to try to use the least amount of ERS possible while keeping our position, and even try to gain a position if I see an opportunity to do so. But it's going to be very hard in this little DRS train that's going to form with the 3 cars directly ahead of me. You can see the leader, AC Immortal, is able to get out, almost breaking the DRS out in front. And again, I haven't quite got the view of what the tire was that he had started on, because that's going to be a key thing here. Like I just said, if he's on the hard tires, and he's the one I'm really racing, and all of these guys are just in my way. If he started on the medium tire as well, then we're just fucking chilling. We're like, well, this one's already won. Like, this just, as long as the safety car doesn't come out at like a really bad time, and then we go green the rest of the way, you know, we'll be chilling. But yeah, so far just going to get caught into a little bit of a DRS train, but things will definitely evolve here as our tires wear at different rates. Almost a third of the way through this one, and I am now really starting to get held up by these medium runners. The car ahead of me gets a shaky exit, so we're going to burn some of this juice we got stocked up to try to get at least one of these positions back. He's going to go defensive. We're going to try to swing it around the outside. A guy on a completely different strategy than me and is not racing me in this race at all is going to battle me to the death, just wasting time on both of our races. which just isn't surprising at all when, you know, if someone isn't intelligent enough about the game to know what the strategy is on every track that everyone has known about since the first week of the game, I also can't really anticipate them to be intelligent in terms of their decision making on track either. So yeah, we lose time battling each other there, even though we're not racing each other in terms of position for this race at all. And my annoyance level with these medium runners just increases. But luckily, I do have my teammate behind me, Siege. I believe that is my teammate behind me, so he isn't going to over-battle me if it is my teammate. He's actually a good teammate, which is just an amazing change of pace when this was a league where I was getting ganged up on every season by teammates working against me. Even going beyond and literally breaking the rules to kind of work against you, but of course never getting punished for it, because again, you know, if it ever goes against us, it just never gets penalized. So yeah, to kind of finally have a good teammate on my side now is just the greatest of things. But yeah, we're gonna have to bide our time to get another shot. As you can see, he's using all of his ERS to just stay in the exact same spot as he is. Just the most intelligent decision making you've seen all year, folks. As we fast forward to the end of the lap, I almost missed this part happening as I was skipping forward editing this, but they're going to go side by side ahead of me. He's going to go off the track, just keeps a foot in. They're still going to hold it side by side. He goes up over the sausage curb, so that is going to be a position for us. Again, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I mean, reposition, yay. So, up in the fourth. One of the medium runners finally behind us, and yeah, hopefully we can get the other two rather quickly, as now you can see it's like a 5-second gap to the leader. So again, they got to see what kind of tire he is on, because that is going to be kind of the big decider, because the question is, did these medium runners kind of fuck me out of this win at the detriment to their own race, which is obviously just maximum annoyance? Or is he on the medium tire as well? Because now we're kind of getting in that funky ground. Like, all right, if he's like 5, 6, 7 seconds ahead, like that's about, you know, how far he needs to be getting ahead of me. Now these guys, on the other hand, no, like I'm in DRS of them, and then I'm going to be on the quicker tire for the remaining of the race. Like, nah, those guys I'm not really racing for ending position long term in this race. As we advance forward, the Alpine had pit. I am now right behind the Haas, the other medium runner that got a great start from 4th on the grid. And you will see at the end of this lap, I believe he will be pitting because he doesn't want to get undercut too much by the other guys. Also, it's right about that window for the medium tires. He goes into the pits, and that is going to be us up in the 2nd place. And yeah, now finally hunting down the leader and seeing if we can make up for lost time. Halfway through lap 18, though, a virtual safety car would come out. And this really shakes things up. You know, this is now an opportunity for us to make our pit stop. It's going to be a little bit of a stretch to take the medium tires to the end, but but it can work. And it's kind of reminiscent of a race last year. I had an F121 where I was the only person that knew that the mediums could go much longer than the game actually told you they could. And a safety car had come out right about this time, and I was the only one that had pit onto medium tires to take them to the end of the race, and it paid off for me. Is I was able to go on and win the race easily just because I knew the strat. I mean, don't you love that when you're in a 7-tiered league and you're racing a bunch of other 1%ers in the game, but just simply knowing how long the tires can go on a track gives you free wins? I mean, phew, you really got to work hard tactically to outdo people in this game. No sarcasm at all there. Well, now we fast forward a couple laps after the pit stop. Obviously, we went green quickly because it was also only a virtual safety car. But you see our leader had stayed out. He got on an awkward strategy because he got caught up in an early incident. And he was battling the leader, which has held him up. And then he saw that we were coming through, and he politely lets us go. Our teammate being an absolute fucking unit for us. And that is going to allow us to fly right up to the back of AC Immortal. And hopefully we can get a good glimpse of what his tire is. I think I do see the yellow stripes. So yeah, we are on the same tire strategy. So yeah, to be able to make up that much time on him after we lost all of that time to those medium runners at the beginning of the race is just an excellent result for us. And now we go from being 6 seconds behind the lead to now right up his butt in the DRS. So we still have a chance to get the win in this one. But we have really close to the same pace. So finding enough pace to be able to get the overtake on him will be a challenge. But hey, we are still on to possibly fight for the win. Well, not possibly. We're definitely fighting for the win in this one. As the laps would tick by, you would see like we're kind of right about in the same spot. You know, we're not really getting much closer, but he's definitely not breaking away by any means. So, yeah, the fight for the win is still on as we come to the line. It will be 10 to go, 10 laps to try to make this happen. We'll see how close we get with the DRS and the slipstream, which is basically non-existent in this year's game. Luckily, I've heard in next year's game the DRS and slipstream is a lot more powerful, which is just, oh, thank the gods. I mean, I don't even care if dirty air is more realistic and tougher. It's like, at least make it so you can pass people when you're right up their butt. Like, holy shit, it is a pain in the ass to get overtakes done with the slipstream. I mean, you got to get so close to someone and hope that they don't just burn their entire battery to be able to get an overtake done in this game. It's quite ridiculous. And to lap 25, coming up to lap 26. You see as a guy that's nearly a lap down is now set fastest lap. And we are inching just that little bit closer. Now let's see how close we get on this straightaway. The game thinks I'm going to be stopping for soft tires, and I'm saying that the game is absolutely stupid. And that's something else that surprised me. The game's calls on strategies have just been like getting worse every year. Like in F1 2018, 2019, like you can reliably listen to the game for strategy calls, especially like with MFD like recommendations for changes on strategy. Like, you can reliably listen to it. It's like F1 21 and 22. It's like, nah, you just fucking ignore that shit because it is some hot trash. But yeah, we are getting ever so closer, just a couple tenths at a time, inch by inch. We are getting closer and closer to our rival, seeing if we can get the lead in this race. It would be our first win of the season. It would be either one of our first wins of the season. And we're close enough in points that whoever wins here between either one of us, as long as it is one of us, will be the championship leader. He's currently the championship leader, but only by 5 points. So, yeah, and I'm tied for second, 5 points behind. Again, I forget which driver I was tied in points with, but nonetheless, this is the race not only for the win, but for the championship lead, as we are, again, closer than we ever have been. We've been inching up closer and closer, and we're going to burn the battery right here. The little bit that we have left, he isn't even going to fight it. He sees that we have an amazing run. He's going to save his battery to see if he can fight us back in the last few laps of this race. But we get the job done. We make the overtake, and from being down in 5th place for a big chunk of this race, we are now back up into the lead. And yeah, that felt damn good to get back into the lead of this one, especially with just the absolute train wreck that this lobby was. You know, having multiple restarts, multiple times that the settings were wrong. Just very annoying to say the very least. Coming to the front stretch now, we will see, does he have enough battery to go for an overtake on us, or do we have the pace to stay out in front of him? But it doesn't matter, because now we will see it's a full safety car has come out with the last couple laps of the race. And I had to make an important decision here. I at least have another guy in this party with me to get a little bit of information to know that the gap between me and him and the rest of the field is, I don't want to say very significant, but it is a decent chunk. So I figure if I pit under this safety car for softs, worst case scenario, I'm second or third on fresh softs to very worn mediums, I'm going to have a great opportunity, even just in a couple laps time, to easily be able to get overtakes done on them. Whereas if I stay out and they can basically make a free pit stop behind me and losing maybe 1 position on fresh softs, I'm not going to be able to hold off fresh softs for 2 whole laps. So I'm figuring that the fresh tires is the way to go, especially when you're going to lose very little in terms of position. So yeah, we are going to go for it with the soft tires and just a couple laps to go, and we will see what everyone does behind us. Fast forwarding now, you can see the 2 drivers behind me did the same thing. So we still have the lead, but we are all on equally stock DRS bars and fresh softs for a 2-lap shootout for this race. We are going to launch at an awkward time in the middle of the run up to the last corner. That definitely caught everyone off guard. Very legal restart. I kept my pace very consistent. I was still tire warming. And then, yeah, people would either expect me to launch in the chicane or launch coming out of the last corner. No one was expecting me to launch going into the last corner. And that ended up being a great play for us to get us this little bit of a gap that we need. So we can burn a lot of the battery here on this lap, because the last time I'm really going to need to use the battery is down this front stretch at the start of the final lap. I'm going to burn everything I got just to make sure I hold the position there, because you won't be able to speed close enough without DRS to be able to really reasonably make an overtake done on the rest of the lap. So just got to be mistake free here. I am still without a warning in this race, so things are looking very good for us at the moment. As we come into Sector 3, you can see almost a full second gap between me and AC Immortal behind. And if we can close this out, this would be an amazing win for us. Our third win this year in this game league. And yeah, we are looking to really raise that tally with not just this race, but more throughout the rest of the season. We nail the final chicane. And coming out of the last corner, we're going to wait to get on the battery because it's a little risky getting on in the middle of the corner. We got plenty of a gap behind us. Fastest lap yet to boot, and we are looking good for 26 points.
Let's go, baby.
And as we come up to the line, we are pumped about this one. What a comeback drive from being down in 5th place a couple laps into this one. Fighting back up through, only 11 finishers, but we will be on the top step, and it's a double podium for our team as well, which means not only do we take the championship lead, but we also take the lead in the Constructors' Championship as well. Just an absolutely mega race for us and my team, and yeah, that one just felt damn good to get. After the terrible luck we have with that one sole safety car in Australia fucking us when we were on for a podium. And then, even though we had an amazing result at Imola, to lose the lead on the penultimate lap, you know, we've played really well all season long, but now we finally got that top step that just, you know, it just really solidifies it mentally. Even if you're consistently getting podiums, it still kind of hangs over your head, and you don't feel like you're doing that great because you haven't got any wins. But now that is all aside, because not only do we got our first win of the season, we got the championship lead in both of the standings, which just, you know, just a mega race for Alfa Romeo and myself. And yeah, I don't know what else more to say about that one. It was an exciting one. Great battle with AC Immortal in that one. We were on the same strategy. Had to fight through those medium runners, but at the end we got it done. Got the championship lead. And we will see you guys in the next video, as I believe the next race was at Austria. Until then, we'll see you.